Good morning and welcome to the Senior Hour. I'm Dr. Gene Dorio with my co-host, Barbara Cochran, on your hometown station AM 1220 KHTS. This is a show for, about, and by seniors bringing information to enhance one's quality of life. And we are sponsored by Advanced Audiology and In-Home Care Santa Clarita. Barbara is off today, but we have a great show coming up. We have Arif Halaby from Total Financial Solutions and Kim Wall, our homeopathic guru. And as you know, today's Veterans Day, and we honor those veterans who sacrifice their time to protect our nation. Right now, there is a ceremony going on at Veterans Historical Plaza, which is very close to where I'm sitting. As a matter of fact, it's around the corner, and I can probably throw a stone to it. But, you know, we would not be one bit bothered by the fact that you want to go there and honor our veterans and not listen to our show today. Of course, if
you
you're
always podcast us.
That's right. If you can do that, and then our seniors, some of them are very good at that, aren't they?
They are. You know, today's technology has allowed you to take us on the go, if you will. And if you're outside and you listen, you're going to hear some military aircraft. You're going to hear some amazing honoring and tributes that are done specifically so that our veterans are not forgotten. We spent some time in the 70s forgetting our veterans, didn't we?
Didn't we? We sure did. And that's just one of those marks and scars, I think, on our society. And, you know, the thing is, though, Arif, I think we have to continue to make sure those scars do not come back. And, you know, with our seniors right now who are there, they faced that. They faced that when they came back. But our veterans who are of the generation that I belong to, they faced a different problem coming back from Vietnam. And we really do have to honor them. Now, I hear some planes even going over right now. And
so, yeah, it's helicopters that are out there, military helicopters, I think.
And, you know, this is what they're doing at Veterans Historical Plaza. There's a partnership between the city and the Veterans Historical Committee, as well as SCV Chapter 91 and the Blue Star Mothers, as well as the Blue Star Mothers Moms of the Canyon Country, and the Prayer Angels for the Military and the Knights of Columbus. They're all getting together to honor our veterans there, and I think it's just a wonderful thing that is taking place right now. What I want to do also mention to you, Arif, is that last night at the city council meeting, the city council honored those doctors who have been at Henry Mayo since the doors opened.
How nice.
In 1975, and they 1975, and I do want to mention their names. They are Dr. Douglas Godowski, Dr. Jerry Garrett, Dr. Larry Leiter, Dr. David Misko, Dr. Arthur Vatz, Dr. Arnold Barton, Dr. John Coco, Dr. Alan Kars, Dr. John Kaufman, and Dr. Larry Sherman. And I bring this up because, interestingly enough, 5 of them are veterans. Oh. And I want to make sure that we not only honor them for being a part of stabilizing this community and giving a foothold for the city of Santa Clarita to exist, right, but also for opening the doors and maintaining a hospital for us to be taken care of. Those doctors who, and I think they're almost all Vietnam veterans, Dr. Douglas Godowski, he won a Bronze Star for heroism and bravery, and I will tell you that he told me the story about the event that took place, and it was harrowing. I mean, talking about somebody who deserved more and beyond that, Dr. Doug Godowski really did. Also, Larry Leiter, Art Vatz, John Coco, and Alan Kars were all veterans of actual war and combat.
You know, it's amazing to me whenever you meet somebody who's a Medal of Honor winner or a Bronze Star or of any of that recognition, those individuals are so humble about it.
They are.
They're very quiet. You'll never really know it unless you ask them, and even then you have to pry it, and you might not even get the whole story, because if it's going to make them look like they've done, in their minds, more than their fellow soldiers or fellow Marines or fellow airmen, they're just not going to do it. They're going to say, no, it was everybody. Oh, it was all of us. It was a big group event. It was an event that I just happened to be a part of, and that's humbling. Look, I want to bring something to your attention. There's a reason that we honor our veterans in Veterans Day, it isn't because they all went to war, because not all of them did. We've had a lot of wonderful peacetime years in our history. But it's because of the sacrifices that come the day in and day out.
Absolutely.
The not being with their family. Folks, not being paid very much money. You know, when minimum wage is being talked about for somebody who flips hamburgers to make more money than somebody who goes, leaves their families in the middle of the dirt and dust and is being shot at or being, alone in the wilderness. Why? I don't understand that.
They don't equate.
It's not even in the same world.
No. And they're
There's
the
a
beacons.
reason.
They're the people who are out there who they might not be fighting, but they are defending.
That's
And
right.
they are there. And any moment, any time of the day, they can be called forward. And they have to be prepared.
That presence is a deterrent. I cannot tell you
Absolutely.
how many times, I have a lot of friends in international countries, and how many times they say that when the United States military is there is some calming effect. And that is every single individual. Look, from the private first class all the way up to the general, they have an image that they are carrying with them, hundreds of years of military tradition, reputation,
And pride.
and pride. And that's why if they mess up, it hits the news big. That's why if a
That's
couple of
true.
guys or gals do something they shouldn't be doing, it's big news.
And that tends to happen, and that's going to happen. But
Yeah, they're people.
You know, we're okay. You know, we are a nation. We are a team, and we all work together in that process. And because we have, it's become a better nation. And I agree. Deterrents need to be out there. If you don't have them, this country is in trouble.
Yeah, the deterrent level of the United States military, whether it's a ship, whether it's a fleet, whether it's a forward base, these individuals really stand out. So we want to thank our veterans.
Absolutely.
The Veterans Park is right off of Hart Park. If you take a look at Hart Park, you go down about a half a block, you'll see it. It's in a weird shape, kind of a pie-shaped piece of land, almost like it was meant to be by our original founders. Something, yeah, because it's a crossroads of multiple streets. It's right down the street from the senior center, and it's a piece of land that probably couldn't have been used for much else, and yet it is being used perfectly for what it does stand
Absolutely. And one of the individuals that will be also honored today at 2:00 is Harry Bell. He was honored.
away.
He passed away 3 years ago now, in an airplane crash.
He sure did.
But he was a stalwart at the senior center. He represented us well in the service. He was 2011 Santa Clarita Valley Man of the Year. He did so much for our community, but Habitat for Humanity will be honoring him at their center today at 2:00, and they're going to unveil Harry Bell Place.
Nice.
A
Is that one of the
street
new
there
streets?
for the
Yeah.
it's in a
Is
community
that
for
our
veterans.
community that's off
Yes,
of?
it's the one
folks,
being built that this radio station has been a great part of.
huge. You need to know where this is. This is up off of, I guess, Center Point Parkway, up behind Golden Triangle, kind of in that area. It is a community that is become really an iconic place because of the ability for city, state, county, local officials, environmental concerns, business concerns, veterans groups, where they all work together. The permits, the fees, the regulatory sometimes headaches that you go through were really streamlined, and in a matter of months it went from concept to completion. And I can tell you that a big part of that land development is by an individual who didn't want to be and still doesn't want to be receive a lot of attention. But there are some people that were involved behind the scenes to make the financial numbers work.
Yeah, and it's great. It's great for the community, and it's great for the veterans. The what we talked about earlier, Arif, about veterans and respect given to veterans, those who went out and served us, put a uniform on, maybe not always in harm's way, but still out there. Still one of the big problems is homelessness.
Yes.
Within the veterans, and the last statistic I know of is that there were 49,000 homeless in the state of California alone. 49,000.
It's incredible.
It fills some college football stadiums, and that's
There's multiple
abhorrent.
reasons for homelessness. When I was a Los Angeles policeman, I can tell you, I've never met somebody who wanted to be who didn't want to be homeless for very long. Here's what I mean by that. Most of the guys out there that are along the beach, that's where I worked when I met a lot of folks, were like, look, Arif, it's part of our life now. It's become a culture.
Yeah.
They don't want to be there, but they just don't think there's any other options. And when we would tell them, look, there's mental health places, and I have a check that goes every month that goes into my P.O. box up at the top of Sunset or Temescal Canyon, wherever they happen to be. And so how do we address people that have mental health concerns? That, in my opinion, has been the leading reason. And look, you can go back to when Ronald Reagan was governor of California. Mm-hmm. He was sued by the ACLU. He, and of course, as a governor, the state of California was sued by the ACLU and said, you cannot keep people in mental institutions just because they're homeless. Yeah. So the 5150 rules were created, which said you've got to be a danger to yourself or others. You know that as a physician. Mm-hmm. Where 72-hour holds were created, et cetera. And ultimately what took place is they opened up these, you remember Camarillo Hospital?
I've been there, not as a patient, but I've been there.
I was there as a investigator for the Los Angeles Police Department in 1995.
I've been to Metropolitan State also.
Okay, I've never been there
as well. Yeah, and we had one at Olive View.
That's right.
A closed facility.
That's right.
I've been there before, and now everybody is for sure thinking that I was a patient.
Well, as a doctor, you go there. I've investigated a few places, and then I actually worked at Northridge Hospital when they had, I don't know if they still do, but Pavilion East. And the psych wards are temporary places for a lot of people to sometimes just get their medication on track, just to get back on track with life. We all have problems. It's nothing about that. But what slips through the cracks with our veterans is the veterans' healthcare system is so broken that they are not allowing veterans, in my opinion, to get a voucher to go, just like, treat it like health insurance. They want to go to this hospital or this hospital. Make the Veterans Association, the Veterans Administration compete. Make their quality of service be required so that our veterans will get the care, get the medication they need, get back on track. There are plenty of organizations that want them to have a job that will help them get retrained. You can go to school for free these days. You can get a free cell phone. You can get a free apartment. You're not going to live like a king, but you shouldn't until you get to work. But there are organizations out there to help. The problem is our veterans that are homeless don't know this, and there's no way to kind of convince them. They're not in their right mind, some of them, so how are you going to tell them to do something?
And the system is broken. I was in the system. I think I've been at least at 10 VA hospitals, and probably 4 of them for 6 months or longer.
Wow.
From different cities throughout the United States.
Wow.
So, and it was the same.
They were all
over.
All had issues.
All of them had issues.
Yeah.
And why we allow the veterans, people who have fought for us, been out there for us, to not get good care is beyond me. And the second part of this is, here when you're a soldier, you're there for at least 2 years.
Yeah.
And you're regimented. Everything is tightened up. You do things, you get up, you go to sleep, you have camaraderie, there is teamwork. All of this is right in front of you. Then you're discharged, you go out, and then for some they become homeless. But what I don't understand is every business that I know of needs to have people who work as a team, needs to have people who have learned how to regiment themselves. And to be honest with you, the veterans who are just coming out are probably the best workers. They just have to be able to be given that opportunity.
You know who works, in my opinion, some of the best employees, best driven individuals in today's economy? Give me a military person that served a couple of years, maybe 4 years. So they were promoted, they understood the system, they understood teamwork, they understood the structure, and somebody who has played sports in high school or college.
I'll take that too.
You give me those two people where they are competitive, where they care about success, where they take losing and failing personally, so they get up and they fight. There's a reason that when that French train had 3 U.S. servicemen on it, and the guy comes out with an AK-47. People, this is a big gun.
Run.
That's what everybody
the first
did.
instinct.
And what
Run away.
What did these 3 soldiers do?
Ran toward.
That's exactly right. And they were of a variety of ages. They were a variety of races. They were a variety of military service divisions. They weren't all like Marines. There were 2 or 3 different services represented there, and they fought. And one of them got stabbed, and he kept fighting.
That's right.
Do you not understand, people, that these are, look, certainly I think some leaders are born, certainly, but most of them are made.
Created.
They are
by
created.
A system.
They are created.
And just the opposite can happen too, Eric.
You're exactly right.
But we're talking about veterans who have been created, and created for, some of them, leadership roles.
How many people have you known? I can tell you at least 5 that have gone to the military pretty much as a wayward individual. Somebody who was wishy-washy, who wasn't clear on life.
Not a good student sometimes. Maybe a good athlete, but not a good student.
Couldn't figure out life. They didn't know. Maybe they lacked a little bit of respect for what their parents did every single day when they went to work and provided for them, and they didn't get the fact that actually took sacrifice. And yet they come out a very focused individual, a very dedicated, and believe it or not, a very appreciative. I have not seen anybody come out in an arrogant way where they've come out and said, see, I deserve everything just because I breathe on this earth.
I've never seen that happen.
No.
Ever. Now, I know some of my friends will say that has happened of people they know. And now I've never seen that happen. I know there were people that I went to school with in high school that really had no direction, as you said, at all.
Yeah.
And here they go into the service and they come out a totally different person.
Yes.
High school could not provide that for them.
That's right.
You know, the education, sitting in the classroom wasn't, but using your hands, understanding a system, picked it up, they were fine, and have become leaders because of it.
It was funny how timely this is. Marco Rubio in last night's debate says, we got to stop demonizing vocational work.
Oh, I heard that.
Yeah, it was interesting. He said, electricians make more than philosophers. Why are we producing more philosophers?
Yeah.
Plumbers make more than art history majors. And none of those are bad things. But come on, if you want a society and you want to stop punishing people who create, who work with their hands, who in the middle of a Thanksgiving dinner, your plumbing backs up. You're not calling a doctor. You're not calling an attorney. You're calling the plumber to save your bacon in the middle of a Thanksgiving dinner. And
save your turkey.
Yeah, save your, depending on if you're kosher or not, I guess. Turkey wrapped bacon. Why is it that we demonize folks that don't choose to go down the road of
and we
college?
shouldn't. We should respect each other and how we support all of us as a team. And to me, that's what we are. You
can't say I'm only going to support my right hand and let my left foot.
Exactly.
We're a body. We're a group of. Everybody has a role, whether you think it is or isn't. It doesn't matter what you think. There's a role. So, very appreciative to our veterans on this Veterans Day. Thank you all for serving and creating what you have, which is an amazing country.
Absolutely, Arif. Absolutely. And we talked a lot about honoring them, and I think every day we have to continue to do that, even though it's not Veterans Day. 6 months from now, we should be still doing the same, and not just take one day and say, okay, this is the day we are going to honor you. No. That should not happen. My dad was a World War II veteran, and he was injured. And he was injured enough to where he limped. Wow. And he came out of the war, never talked about it.
And did he just sit at home and wait to die?
Absolutely
what?
not.
He actually went out and worked?
Went out and worked and was very political, as most people know. And, then we moved to California, and he went to the VA in Long Beach, where I actually ended up doing some residency there. It was just great. But, they brought him back to a normal level when I was about 15. I noticed one day he wasn't walking with a limp anymore. But this is every day I honored my dad, because my dad was the stalwart in the family.
Yes.
He didn't put his head down. He
feel sorry for himself.
Nor did he,
because I'm this or that.
And also he helped others, and he kept doing that. He kept picking people up who were around him to make sure they got opportunity as well. So I look at my dad and I see him as a veteran. I say, every veteran deserves that opportunity. Every veteran should be honored every day.
Yeah, that's right.
And even though it's just Veterans Day today, they should be honored every day of the year. And we should keep that in mind. If we do that, Arif, how will this country be?
I think you're going to see the United States begin to appreciate free speech the way we should. Right now there's any kind of hate speech. It sounds like you're talking about a fascist country.
Yeah.
How are universities that are supposed to be the place where you're supposed to have ideas, you're supposed to hash out and learn how to discuss and how to argue and how to debate and how to instead we have universities across this country that are not allowing people to talk.
Yeah. Even though
Did
it
you
might
reali-
be a negative thing for them,
Who cares? Let
listen
them
to
talk.
the other side of the story.
Walk
But
away.
see, during the Vietnam era, that's where I learned that.
That's right.
And to me, that was an important lesson of life, hearing the other side of the story. And I was taught that my whole life.
And veterans live by the creed that says, I may not agree with what you say, but I will fight to the death to defend your right to say that. You cannot ask these clowns on university campuses right now, all across the nation, specifically in Missouri at the moment, that are there on government, which means taxpayer money, which means my money and your money, student loans that they most likely will never pay back because they're so enormous. Certainly they're not paying the interest on that money. And these are people there that are bad-mouthing veterans, bad-mouthing the rights that veterans fight for, and they are sitting there not allowing a conversation. Who cares if you don't like it? Walk away. Don't buy their product. Don't pay for their service.
But my point is, I don't want to walk away. I want to listen to them.
That's you and I.
That's
We want
that's
that.
a part of the conversation
Yes.
that should be always there. Free speech, free voice.
Well, it's not existing in many university campuses.
But
The
something,
same
they
thing
have to
are-
learn that lesson.
I agree.
And I think that we have. I learned it a long time
Veterans
ago.
fought for it already.
And I did not go to war, and I protested the Vietnam War, but yet I honored the veterans when they came back because I knew it was important. We have to continue honoring the veterans that
You
are
can
out there.
dislike the conflict, but not the people.
Yeah, exactly. And then we have to learn how to do that. And I think most people do, Arif. I'm thankful that we have that opportunity to be able to do it.
Yes, I would agree.
Arif, great day, Veterans Day, honoring
beautiful
them
day.
on our microphones here and at KHTS. But thank you for putting in your input, our input together to honor those veterans that are out there.
My
We're going to
pleasure.
take a break right now. I'm Dr. Gene Dorio on your hometown station AM 1220 KHTS.